So last Sunday saw us travel to Battersea Park in London for the British Masters Athletics Federation 5k Championships, one I've been looking forward to for a long while.
And before the race, time to try out the bicarb again.
Yes, we had to take it 2 hours before race time, so we got to the park nice and early to guzzle it down.
Then a nice stroll over to the bandstand to pick up our race numbers.
So I'm making our way to the start line now. My race starts at 11 AM, Dawn's at 11:02. So one thing to guess is how many female runners will overtake me. In fact, I've got a 2-minute start. I reckon about 3.
Ooh, just 3.
So in Dawn's race is Claire Elms, multiple world record holder over distances, I think, from 800, 1500, 5k. So that's your work cut out today.
In my dreams.
And in my race, there's the one and only Tim Gross, who's running just very similar times to me at the minute.
So,
he's got home advantage.
Tim or John?
Yeah.
Comment below. You'll probably know by the time you've watched this.
We will go in 2 waves. We will start the first wave at 11, and then at 11:02 I will bring the rest of you and we will start.
It was nice to meet up with Rose, who I've raced with in several Masters races this year.
So I managed to find Tim at the start, tall chap here in the black Walton AC vest, and then we line up and we are good to go.
Yeah, see you later.
Bye guys. So quick guide to form here. Tim is coming back from a long period of injury. He's been doing park runs to get his 5k fitness back and recently ran a 1955 at Sutcliffe Park Run. Well, there's a few U-turns on there around a tree, so I reckon that he is in somewhere between 1930 and 1940 shape. I've recently run a park run at Selby, a flat out and back with a little bit of semi-trail in 1943, so I reckon I'm in somewhere between 1930 and 1940 shape, so it's shaping up to be quite a good battle here. See, Tim has set off is maybe 10-15 yards in front of me. As a former track runner, he has traditionally been a fast starter, but he's managed to rein that back a bit more recently and run more evenly. I am traditionally, if not a slow starter, maybe just hang back a little bit in the first kilometre and go to the gears. So this isn't unexpected. I don't want Tim to get too far ahead because I'm expecting our times to be very close together. So we have a 260-yard run here and we're through what is going to be the finish line at the end of the race. Then we'll carry on a bit further before we swing a left. Battersea Park plays host to many 5k races. No Podium has some here, a company called Sri Chimnoy, and also there's a new parkrun here. It is quite a fast course which affords for blistering times. The only slight hesitation here is we turn this corner, you have to come to a little bit of a standstill and then try and get in pace again along this wonderful flat stretch of tarmac. So it's a very flat course, it affords for fast times. I'm working well here. Tim's not getting any further in front, so I'm quite happy just to sit and track and monitor him and see what we go through the first kilometre in. Now, those of you who followed my recent training series for 10k will know that normally I set my watch up to record in kilometre splits so I can monitor each kilometre split in a 10k or a 5k. I've opted against doing that today because unusually for me, I'm actually in a race. My one objective coming into this race is to track Tim, to have a good battle with him, and may the fittest person or the one who has the better day on the day win that particular race between us. It's unusual for me this year because normally I turn up at races, don't really know anybody. Yeah, I race against people and try and beat people if possible, but here I have a particular target in mind, particular person I'm tracking. So rather than look at splits on my watch, although you do see me glancing at my watch there, I'm just more interested in a head-to-head competition here against Tim. So you'll note a 1 kilometre split of 3:58, 5 of those, and I'd be running 19:50. I'm hoping to go a bit quicker than that, but feeling okay at present. Well, into kilometre 2 now, and you can see I've got on Tim's shoulder here. I do think about going past him, but I don't want to start sort of doing to's and fro's quite at this minute. I do veer out a little bit to see if it's worth doing a surge, but I think better of it, and we're both going to work together through this second kilometre. So shoes today, I've got my Takumi Sen 10s on. I debuted them last week at the Wilmslow 10k. They work quite well. Actually today they're giving me a little bit of uncomfortable soreness on top of my foot, so we'll have to watch out there. Yeah, I go side by side with Tim here, so he knows I'm there, but he's getting his head down, he's working hard, we're both working hard at present and trying to pull each other along and maybe reel in one or two of the runners in front. So after the initial straight bit of this race, we do 2 complete laps of the park. Now I have raced here before, but it's all the way back, I think in 2008, I did a 10k in 34 minutes. Really well set up for running. It is flat, as I've said. You can see some cones here to keep cars coming into the park, apart from runners. And before the race, it was like a mecca of running. When I've been here before on sort of government business, I have run around the park, say about 20 years ago, and it really wasn't that full of runners, but you know, arriving here at 9 o'clock, I think the effect to see maybe many YouTubers run here and race here, it really was, you know, runners paradise, runners city here. So really good to see in this second running boom. You can see we've passed through 2k, slightly quicker kilometre for me, 3:56, 7:54 aggregate, so we're certainly heading for a sub 20 here, but how far under 20 can we both get, and can we get in the 1930s as I predict what shape we're both in, and who's going to cross the line first out of the two of us. Just turning into the area where we started, then it's along the long straight again, through the finish area and past the bandstand, and then another big loop of the park. Now, I don't know about Tim here, but I'm absolutely loving this. The thrill of racing against somebody, against opponents that you respect. This is what running is all about for me. You know, this is a race, it's the British Masters Championship, and just a note on that, the standard is frighteningly high. I mean, you'll see later my race result that I'm pretty pleased with. It got me 27th out of 30 in the male 50 category. Tim was running in the male 55. I think he finished a little bit higher up in his age group, but the quality here is insane. As I said, Dawn is up against Claire Elms, a multiple world record holder, basically the best female 60 runner in the history of female 60 running over distances like this. So really is a pleasure and an honour to be taking part in such a high level competition for Masters athletes. So meanwhile, the female and male 65 and over race had set off 2 minutes behind us. Dawn's in this race, so let's hear a little bit from her about her thoughts leading into the British Masters Championships.
In my race, we'd looked at the entry list and I was looking to finish anywhere between 3rd and 6th.
You'll notice a new club vest there, Northern Masters AC. To take part in this competition, you need to be a member of a specified Masters club, so we both joined up the Northern one. So going along this long straight, you can't see Tim in camera very much. I think we're side by side at the minute, but I'm not putting the pedal down just yet. I haven't got the confidence to start racing from just under halfway through this race. I think we'll just keep tracking each other. You can just see him there on the left of the screen and try and reel in, as I say, 1 or 2 runners in front. Just coming up to the bandstand now where the race HQ had been. So a little bit of cagey time here. I'm not wanting to go past him and take him on. I'm tracking him here. We're just coming up to 3k. I'm wondering when I might try and make a surge and make a break. Now, we did say earlier, how many female runners would we be overtaken by? And I think the first one is just about to come through just before the 3 kilometre mark. Gabby Reynolds, wife of an old friend of ours, Bryn, who we met at the end. It was lovely to catch up with them and chat to Bryn and Gabby, but she is a really, really fine runner. And here we're going through the 3k marker now, and there goes Gabby on the right, smoothly running her way to a low 17 minutes. What a really high standard runner she is.
As for my race, I was feeling stronger than I felt for weeks. Not quite back to my best, but I was having a lovely time and really enjoyed this race and being competitive.
So back to the battle with Tim, and we're about to take this sharp corner. I think he takes bends better than I do. It's all those years of track running for him. And then I've got a decision to make in a minute. You see how he just slightly pulls away after that bend. I corner like the Titanic, so I'm not the best, but I use the work I've been doing on running form to sort of open my stride. There goes another lady. I think that's the second one passing us. Remember, I did say I thought there would be 3 went past us. So at Gabby, we've had this lady in the red and white striped vest. So I'm getting closer to Tim now, and we're building up for a good battle over the last 2 kilometres. And there goes the third one, a lady on the left in the yellow vest there. So that is 3 past us. Now, I didn't count any more go past us, I think, so I think I was correct that 3 female runners given as a 2-minute head start still went past us. So anyway, enough of that, back to the head-to-head between me and Tim. So it's funny, I race a lot, but don't really race people, if you know what I mean. So it's hard to know how to gauge this. But I thought now I'm going to get myself in a win-win situation. I know Tim is running with an Insta 360. He's new one. He's got that strap to him. And if I can get in front of him and stay in front of him even for a little while, at least I'll get some footage of me in the race. If I don't manage to stay in front of him, then I've still got the footage. If I do manage to stay in front of him, that's a double win because I'll take the actual win in the race. I've just eased past him now, and it's pedal to the metal for the last 1.5k of this race. So I've now switched to Tim Cam here, and that's me in the blue vest, the Tracksmith vest, and I'm trying to pump my arms, keep my head high, and actually psychologically, as far as Tim's concerned, trying to put 1 or 2 runners between me and him. I know it's not going to be easy because he's a fine runner. In fact, our history goes back to 2004. He beat me at the 2004 London Marathon. He beat me again at the 2005 London Marathon. So currently in the long series with a gap of 19 years, he's currently 2-0 up. Can I get a goal back and maybe try and claw back on parity with him at some point in the future? Let's see. 3:53, fastest kilometre of the race so far, 15:49 cumulative. So you've got what you can see from my camera on the main bit of the screen. You've got Tim Gross cam there on the top left hand corner. So you're getting a dual view, you're getting what I can see and what somebody else can see, seeing me. So there you go. We're into the last kilometre now, and we're going to give it the full send, as I say these days, to get ourselves across that finish line as quickly as possible. So at this point, I think I should mention the bicarb. You see Dawn and I take it at the start of the race. We also took it before the Wilmslow 10k. I am probably, if anything, feeling the benefit here. You know, I've taken a risk here going past Tim with 1.5 kilometres to go, but I'm actually getting myself up to speed where I've not been at this time in a 5k race before. Maybe that's the secret ingredient, I don't know. I'm not scientific enough to give you a detailed review of it, but I do know that I'm running stronger than I've been able to at any point. I've gone harder from longer out in a 5k than I've been able to manage to before, so I don't know if that's confidence, it's my racing head, it's the bicarb, or a combination of all of those. But certainly living my best life here, racing fine runners in the British Masters Championships around Battersea Park in London. In fact, one more point on lactate buffering and the bicarb. I did manage to maintain an average heart rate of 177 during this race, which is a couple of beats higher than I've done for any 5k for several years. So maybe there is something in it. I could maintain a higher heart rate effort for longer as we move into the final few hundred yards of this race. And heading down the final straight now. So my official recent PB is 19:48, set at the Podium 5k back in August. I've done a parkrun time of 19:43 at Selby a few weeks ago, so anything faster than that will be a real bonus. We do have an outside target of 19:30, which is my own running club's gold standard for a Vet 50 over 5k. But we'll see what we get. We're working hard here. There's the chap in the hooped vest next to me. I'm just trying to use him. I'm just trying to pick out people I can see, support him by the sides and run to them, then run to the next one, really trying to segment what's quite a long run in. Little flick of the head around there to see if Tim is bearing down on me using his great track and sprint speed. Hopefully he's not there on my shoulder, because I wouldn't fancy taking him in a kick finish. I had to go from quite a way out to have any chance. So here we are. You can see Tim actually lifting his knees there on his camera on the top left there, really giving it a big sprint finish, and we are approaching the finishing line now. Remember, that's a gun time, and my chip time comes out at 19 minutes and 31 seconds. So a big PB, a 17-second comeback PB, just 1 second outside my club standard, and as it turned out on the day, it is 5 seconds in front of Tim, a grand battle, and thanks Tim for dragging me round to a new fastest time for about 6 years. And here's Dawn, 21:21 on the day, a second fastest 5k time of the year, a fine effort, finishing 5th in the female 60 category.
I did about 19:40, or I might be slightly quicker depending on when I started.
I think I got 19:31, 1 second outside the club standard. So here's hoping the chip will give you that second.
Yeah.
Where did
Well,
you
so
finish?
like Park, they probably rounded up rather than down.
So filming Mill, filming you, the brand new
Yeah.
Insta. Say hello to Tim's Insta. Hello, John.
Is that the microphone? Yeah. Well, so here's Sue, filming us, filming them.
It's a very rare occasion this year I get to race somebody I know.
Yeah, you must have done. You probably went off a bit harder than you normally do, I thought, because you know that far behind me. We were running side by side for a lot of it.
I was
weren't we?
tracking you basically,
Yeah.
because I say it's the first time I've
Yeah.
actually raced somebody this year.
So when you got to after about a K, and I thought, oh, hold on, this John's going to push on here. So I was, in a way, I was quite pleased that I could hold you off. And I think as I went off a bit harder than I did last week, I didn't have quite as much left as I did at the end. So
it's the nature of this, isn't it? It's against the park run, you have to go off hard.
I think always think that even pace is the best policy in a race. If you finish fast, it's great. But you always think, could I have gone a bit harder earlier on? Yeah.
So a truly wonderful day out for both of us at Battersea Park, catching up with old friends, meeting new ones, and both racing in a really high quality race and giving of our all, and coming away both pleased with our performances. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please give it a like, and if you'd like to see our further racing and training as we move forward into 2025, then please subscribe to the channel. So until next time, keep on keeping on.
Keep on keeping on.